David Williamson is a man who has great insight into theatre. He's passionate about theatre, and he wants to see theatre grow and expand, and he understands the challenges. It was wonderful that this week he met with Martin Portus, and together they talked about theatre. Let's join them.
David Williamson, hi there.
Hi, Martin.
Well, why back in Killara in Sydney did you decide to get behind the campaign to rebuild Marion Street Theatre?
Well, Marion Street has a history for me. They used to revive my plays and do them quite well. And I used to travel regularly up to see revived productions of my earlier works. And it's a terrific little theatre, and it had an adjoining little restaurant, which was terrific. It was an amazing community asset, because those who didn't want to go all the way into Sydney had a perfectly fine theatre with really good production quality right there on their back doorstep. And when I heard it had fallen into disuse and disrepair, I said, what a waste. Community facilities are light on, except if you want a car park and you're in the right electorate. You might get one of those from our pork barreling federal government. But theatres, that's the arts. We don't like the arts. But local councils, thankfully, are a bit more progressive than our federal government. And so when the campaign started to get this theatre up and working again, I thought, what a terrific idea, not just for that locality, for Sydney as a whole, a valuable new piece of community infrastructure devoted to the arts.
It's got a lot of charms, the new kind of plan, hasn't it? It still gives you, but in better form, a restaurant downstairs, and they're adding an amphitheatre. It's nicely surrounded by the park. It's a very beautiful space, isn't it?
It's terrific. When I saw the plans, I thought they know what theatre is all about, and they know what enjoying theatre is all about. I think one of the most congenial theatres in Sydney is still the Ensemble, where the same thing applies. There's a lovely little restaurant that you can have a very good meal in and just walk into your theatre and see a very good production. So the more of that, the better. And I'm delighted. I was delighted to hear when the campaign had been successful and persuaded the council to come on board. And I presume, despite COVID, that's still happening.
They're keeping the form, are they not, of the hall, the original Soldiers' Memorial Hall that it was renamed and passed the council just after the First World War. And I think that form is a memory of it is still in the design.
Yeah, as I say, I was very impressed with the design, and it's a boost for Sydney theatre in general, because if there is a particular play that they're reviving or they're doing that someone elsewhere in Sydney wants to see, well, it's not too far to get in the car and get there. So it's just another theatre option in a city that doesn't really have many theatre options for a city its size. If you're in Berlin or somewhere, there'd be 40 theatres that you could choose from. In Sydney, they're about 5 or 4. And so it's not exactly a theatre-rich city. So not only is this a great asset for the Killara community, it's an asset for Sydney.
It's got an interesting history too in its theatre use, which really started in 1965 with Alexander Archdale, who's a very kind of familiar historic name. But then John Romerell took it over in 85.
So I hate correcting my interviewer. I don't think it was John Romerell, the playwright.
I'm sorry, John Crummell. John
Crummell, yeah. John Crummell did a splendid job there. He was a man of great theatre knowledge, great energy, and a successful theatre needs to be driven, not in a a dreadful overseer's way, but it needs someone of energy and vision to really get things going. And John got it going and kept it going, and he was passionate about that theatre, and that's what you'll need when this wonderful new building is completed. You'll need someone of vision, passion, and energy to make sure that the programming and the theatre standards that are delivered justify this great new building.
He directed, soon after he started your play, The Department, with Willie Fennell and Don Reed and Barbara Stevens.
A lovely production, one of the favourites of my plays. It's very true to life, that one, embarrassingly so. And he did. It's not an easy play to do, but he did it brilliantly. He had flair. He chose his casts well, and he directed well. And it was a real treat to go up to Killara to see a production of one of your plays, or anyone's play, because you knew with John it'd be done well. He could cast really well, because Sydney is replete with terrific actors without enough work. And this reopening will give some of those very good actors work. And as I say, in most other cities in the world, actors of that quality would be in work all the time, but we just haven't got the theatre venues to support it.
What strikes you further about the redesign of the theatre? There's an amphitheatre outside, of different performance spaces, aren't they? It's quite a new type of theatre in the fact that it's got multiple uses, I think.
Yeah, yes, it's been very well thought through. And what struck me, it's a welcoming feel. You feel like it belongs to us. We're allowed to come in here. We are going to enjoy this.
It's intimate theatre, to use the word which you've described what the Killara stage will be like.
Yeah, in this age when everyone's got a 110-inch bloody monster television in their living room, they're used to seeing actors close up and personal. They no longer want the days of a 1,000-seat theatre where these tiny little figures bellowed to reach the back seats. They don't want a show in distant long shot anymore. You have to, a 200 to 300 seater is now the ideal for live drama, and the best theatres in Australia, like the new Billy Brown in Queensland, are designed for that sort of size of audience, so you can feel you're part of that drama. And this theatre will, like the ensemble, like the Billy Brown, this will invite the audiences to really feel they're part of that event they're seeing. And it's something they can't get even at their home with those giant screens, because those actors are flat on that screen. These are live people, and they're right there with you. And that's the kind of experience that Marion Street will be able to deliver.
The Marion Street Theatre campaign has been running since 2016. It looks like it's going to deliver, and the Marion Street will be reborn in a building that's due to start quite soon, I think.
I'm delighted. I'm delighted, and I have huge admiration for all those good people who just wouldn't let a theatre die, and have put so much time and effort. And it's not easy. It's not easy to get the kind of money together that can start the rebirth of the theatre, and they did it. And as I said, they had a lot of convincing to do, and they were tireless. And I was so glad to be just a tiny part of that thrust.
Well, it won't be ready for your birthday next February. You're 80, I think, aren't you?
Yes. Octogenarian.
That's great. Well, you're looking good, David, and thank you for being patron of the Marion Street campaign. See you at the opening.
I'd love to be there, and I'm delighted that it's going to happen. Thanks very much, Martin.
Bye, David.